Well, howdy all, grab yourself a beer, it's time for some Path of Exile discussion. So GGD announced today the December events for 2021, and these are kind of cool. This was teased at about 10 days ago, but now they've got some full information on all of them, and there's Endless Delve is returning, but there's also a couple of new things. There's Endless Heist, there is going to be the Atlas Invasion event, and there's going to be Delirium Everywhere as another event. Additionally, there is the popular returning event, the Gauntlet, run by Zizaran, who is a well-known Path of Exile streamer and puts on some fantastic events. And it is a super competitive race event where players have about 10 days to kill all the bosses in the game, but need to do so on ridiculously hard mode Path of Exile. We'll come to that in a sec, but let's go through what we're going to be seeing here. The first thing I want to point out is that Battle Royale is back on 3 specific days. I really like this implementation. Hopefully everyone that likes Royale can make it to one of those events, because unfortunately they are all the same day of the week. That's the only thing I would do differently if I was GGG. I'd put them on different days of the week to each other. But the key thing here with Royale is that Royale only works if there's a critical mass of people playing it. And by putting it on only 3 days, there will be a critical mass of people playing it. If you like Royale, then definitely check it out on those specific days. Royale's implementation will contain Brutus, who will be chained up in the center of the arena at 8 minutes, or about 8 minutes. It does have a bit of randomness in that. And you can then release Brutus, fight him for a chance at a unique item, or you can just release him and run away and hope that he goes and starts ruining your opponent's days. So that's something that's that's changed a little bit since the original implementation of Royale, and seems to have been well received the last time they messed around with that. The other events start 7 days apart, and what this means is that you will need to prioritize them. I would suggest that most players prioritize one event that they think is their absolute most important to play, and pick and sort of play that one seriously, then dabble in the others when you've got time. I think that's going to be the most fun way to play this for most people, especially for those of you that don't have a tremendous amount of time free during December. So, if you're working full-time during December, then you're definitely only going to want to play in one of these events seriously. So the first event is Endless Delve. Endless Delve, you cannot leave the Delve mines, and that includes no access to your hideout. This means you've got no access to Helena's crafting bench, which means that you will be quite limited on what modifications you can make to existing items. This means that you will be much more dependent upon item drops than you are in normal Path of Exile. You will have to simply balance your resistances without access to the crafting bench, and that creates some interesting new challenges. It also makes ascendancies that have a bit of intrinsic elemental resistance to them, like the Elementalist and the Inquisitor, feel a little bit better to play. Additionally, the Endless Delve event starts at character level 1, and then every 10 levels, so level 1, level 10, 20, 30, up to 70, you will receive 3 additional passive points. This is to mimic the extra points that you would get while you're progressing through the storyline. You get 24 passive points from the storyline if you kill all of the bandits, and you will get 24 passive points in the Endless Delve event. However, there's been a few changes to the Delve Mines that are going to make this event a little bit different to the last time it was on. Firstly, you can now get cluster jewels in them. Jewelry nodes sometimes have a node, I think it's called Compact Jewelry, that will drop a cluster jewel. Then you're not going to get many of these through the Delve Mines, but they will be there. And this is going to allow you to basically take advantage of the power that cluster jewels add to characters at endgame. Secondly, it is now possible to get Conqueror influenced items in the Delve Mines. There will be nodes with the name Triumphant in them. So Triumphant Jewelry, for instance, is something that I've had that has provided a Conqueror influenced item. As well as that, you will also get things like Astral Armaments and Eldritch Jewelry, which will provide you with Shaper and Elder influenced ones. These are quite a bit rarer than they are in the core game. So while in the core game you can plan around, for instance, having exactly a Shaper influenced thicket bow, in the Endless Delve event, you might find that Shaper influenced bows are so rare that you might be forced to make do with a very different bow, like a Shaper influenced spine bow, because you might only find one Shaper influenced bow by the time you reach Delve depth 350. Now, there's a number of prizes available in this event, although I do suggest for most people run this if and only if you're going to find it fun. Basically, the prizes should be seen as a tiny little meme thing rather than as the reason to run one of these events. If the event doesn't sound fun, the prizes are not going to make it fun. And if the prizes are, just see them as a bit of a meme on the side. So Demigod's Authority is available as a reward. These are for the top performing players only. The top 5 of each Ascendancy class in Softcore and the top 5 of each Ascendancy class in Hardcore will get one of these exclusive little toys that they can then take out of their standard stash tab. This will generally be something that will have some demand in standard. Like there'll be standard collectors that will want to get their hands on these, and so you'll probably be able to sell these over in the standard league after the event ends. Alternately, you may just want to use them. The 5% increased character size can be really funny on these demigods items. There's a bunch of different demigods items, and they look really jarring when you've got them all equipped and you just stand in town. They'll look kind of ridiculous. Because the top 5 of each Ascendancy will receive this prize, you are not able to change your Ascendancy class in this event. You can still respec points within an Ascendancy, so this means that you can start out as a Raider that is going to take the Frenzy Charges tree and the Onslaught tree, and then end up as having Avatar of the Veil and Frenzy Charges. You can do that, but what you can't do is start out as a Raider and end up as Deadeye. If you want to play as a Deadeye in the event, you will need to level a new character as a Deadeye. You get one of the silly mystery boxes upon hitting level 50, and that's a guaranteed prize, but it is once per account, not once per character that you get to level 50. And then if you reach 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, or 95, you'll be entered into a random draw where you can win particular MTX prizes. I would consider these to be bonuses, not the reason to push these levels, because I think there'll be a lot of people in each of these draws. There are a lot of people that play Path of Exile efficiently and very fast now, and there will also be a lot of people who are sort of a bit sick of the core Atlas endgame, but really still like the core gameplay of the game, and so they will be going nuts with these events. So you'll probably find that reaching level 95, there will be well over 1,000 players. It may be as many as 5,000 or 10,000 players that reach level 95 in this event, especially with Delve giving so much XP. So that's the first event. Second is Royale, which we've already talked about. Third is Zizaran's Gauntlet event. Zizaran's Gauntlet, Path of Exile on hard mode. It is solo self-found hardcore with all sorts of mods amping up the damage that monsters can do. So you'll have increased monster damage, you'll have more monster life, which is 20% more multiplier to monster life, 20% increased monster speed, 70% increased area of effect. I believe it's 70%. It might be, 70% increased area of effect. And then we have 2 really scary new mods. Monsters fire 4 additional projectiles. So this is a new mod that GGG have added specifically for the Gauntlet. And the unique monsters have 80% increased maximum life. This can be really interesting. So this has removed some of the things that made the Act 1 really brutal in past Gauntlets, especially the 3.15 Gauntlet, but it's added things in that will make later parts of the game really, really brutal. So Maven will actually be the hardest thing, not Brutus, in the Act 1 encounter. And then later on, though, some of the monsters that were really terrifying in past versions of the Gauntlet, like the Weaver, will be a bit weaker than they've been, even though the Weaver will scale aggressively with the 4 multiple projectiles. The Weaver will also not get access to all of the elemental damage that made him so dangerous in the past. But later on in the game, you'll find that some of the projectiles that you're going to have to try and dodge will be absolutely crazy. And I think that the one that'll be most interesting will be seeing what the Shaper is like with 4 additional projectiles. I feel like the Shaper is going to be something that only the very, very, very best players will be able to beat. This has an interesting scoring system that Zizaran has organized and has discussed with a lot of the best players of Path of Exile. And the way that it works is that you get 1 point for each character level up to 95. So that caps at 95. You don't get any more points for getting to 96, 97, 98, 99, or 100. However, if we go and have a look at Zizaran's page, you'll see the point system here. There is also 1 point per 75 delve depth on your character, capped at 225. So you're going to want to push to 225 at some point early in the league. and then you've got those 3 points set on your character. Then there's 2 points for killing the Elder, 2 for the Shaper, 1 for Atsuri, 6 for Uber Elder, 5 for Uber Atsuri, 3 for Cirrus at Awakener level 8 or higher, 2 points for killing the Mastermind at eye level 83, 5 points for the Shaper Guardian Invitation, 4 points for the Maven, 2 points for getting at least 1 Delve boss, and then a whopping 8 points for doing the Breachlord Invitation. This is Maven's Invitation the Hidden, which is one of the hardest fights in the game, and that's going to be phenomenal to see if anyone is able to get that down. I actually sponsored a prize for that last league that no one was able to claim. That was a prize for doing the Maven's Invitation the Hidden on with a mod count of at least 4. So if you'd need to have an elked invitation, and you would not be able to annul off all of the mods. So that's what's coming up with Zizaran's Gauntlet. Looks like something that is absolutely crazy. One thing that's a big change from last time is that the Elder Guardian Invitation is no longer scoring points. That's because a lot of players were having real difficulty with RNG with Elder bosses. It's a lot more reasonable when your Zana missions can give you Elder Guardians, so you can get the fragments to fight the Elder. But getting Maven Witness on them is really, really rough because there's no way to use a Horizon Orb to turn one Elder map into another one. And so that created a situation where people would have, would be sitting with 11 Purifiers and no Enslaver. So that's not going to be an issue this time because there's a lot less points riding on those Elder Guardian kills. Next up is Endless Heist. Endless Heist is something that is going to basically be almost a carbon copy of Endless Delve, really, in that you are going to be running things in Heist. Heist and Delve are very similar content to each other. Really, they're just an alternative form of progression to the Atlas, and this is going to be something really interesting, I think. So you will be picking up contracts every time you complete a contract. You will get a contract at the end of it. So the display case at the end of a contract will drop a new contract, and then the enemies can also sometimes drop contracts. And if you run out, then Adia will sell you contracts, and then additionally you'll be able to get blueprints sometimes. There'll be no quest contracts, there'll be no unique contracts. And you'll be able to buy gems and turn in divination cards with Lily Roth, and you'll start with certain unique items. One thing that's going to be really interesting with this is that it is going to have a very different item availability to the normal game. So you are going to be absolutely fountained with unique items from the start of the game in Endless Heist. You will have an absolutely tremendous amount of them, and they will just be everywhere. You'll also be fountained with divination cards, but there'll also be a number of things you can't get. So things that are usually pretty easy to get in the core game, like for instance the Atsuri uniques, are going to be completely unavailable. I think Endless Heist will be really interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. I think that this is something you want to play a character with a fair bit of move speed and a fair bit of probabilistic defenses, and so I think that the Raider is probably going to be the way to go in this event. Funny, Raider is like one of the best ascendancies at the moment, but all that move speed does help a lot with Heist. Heist is probably some of the most extreme example of content that requires you to have a lot of move speed for it to feel smooth. And I think that, that'll be very interesting to see the breakdown of ascendancies. This will have prizes as well. Again, Demigod's Authority, Atlantis Mystery Box for 50, and random prize draws for getting to higher levels. Next up is the Atlas Invasion event. So this is going to feel like the core Path of Exile game, and instead it is going to have 5 additional endgame map bosses in every zone. So this really calls back to, in my opinion, to the Invasion League. Invasion League was back in the days when Path of Exile had its softcore and hardcore leagues separated, and Invasion was a hardcore only league where every zone had a brutal invasion boss. Most of these invasion bosses have been nerfed many times since, and now they're found in a few other places in the game, as, say, the end bosses of Vaal side areas is one place, and also you'll find them a lot if you have the Trespassers node allocated on your Atlas passive tree. But Atlas Invasion sounds like it will be kind of crazy because anything that can be influenced by any boss that can be collected by the Maven can be can be captured as an Atlas Invasion boss. So you might find the Shaper encountered in the Mudflats. So that could be quite interesting, and this is definitely being voided. I think this is probably one of the ones that does actually need to be voided, because getting access to, the Shaper 16 times before reaching the end of the storyline is going to have a very significant impact on the Trade League economies. So this is also going to have the same prizes you're familiar with, and should be something that's quite interesting. I really like the way that they're doing this adjacent to Endless Heist, because I think that they'll appeal to very different people, and that is a good thing. Next one is Delirium Everywhere. So in this event, your Exile has finally succumbed to Delirium. Almost every campaign and endgame map area has permanent Delirium fog, ranging randomly from 1% to 100% Delirium. This will have all the usual effects: monsters being buffed, new monsters spawning, reward bars filling with kills, and splinters dropping. Each area will always have the same Delirium percentage, and Delirium reward types are randomized each time they drop, so that players don't just sit there, control clicking a zone and making a new copy of the zone all the time. And they're saying here, we've made sure that campaign areas where you have to kill certain monsters aren't too crazy, mostly. Mirrors of Delirium can't spawn, and delirious maps overwrite the effects of this. I think that this will be crazy. This will be one of the most impactful events that we've seen. Unfortunately, it starts very early in the morning on New Year's Day for me, so that might be something that's very difficult to participate in, just due to the nature of New Year's Day. However, this strikes me as something that will be a lot of fun for early in the new year. Again, it's got the same sort of traditional prize pool as everything else for these events, and it looks like it'll be something that's pretty crazy indeed. I am thinking at the moment that the things that seem like the highlights for me, I'm actually going to sit out this Zizaran's Gauntlet. Even though Zizaran's Gauntlet is a lot of fun, I'm going to give it a miss this time. Endless Delve looks like it'll be fantastic, so I'm definitely going to play in that. Endless Heist definitely seems like it's my favourite of these new events, so I'm going to play in that. And then I'll pick one of the other two, Atlas Invasion or Delirium Everywhere, and go at that as well. However, sometimes you don't have enough time to play a league seriously, or you're just not interested in a fresh start from level 1, and you just want to spectate. If that's you, they're turning on Twitch drops for these events. So this means that if you have a Path of Exile account that is linked to your Twitch account, then you will be able to get yourself various portal events by simply watching these, watching other people play in these events. So if you accumulate 2 hours on watch time across any or all channels that are streaming Path of Exile during the first day of each event, then you will receive the Arcane Voidgate portal effect for Endless Delve, the Wrangler portal effect for the Gauntlet, the Temple portal effect for Endless Heist, the Malachi portal effect for Atlas Invasion, and the Divine Demon King portal effect for Delirium Everywhere. So that's going to be a little bit of a bonus there that is definitely worth checking out. I will be streaming the events that I play in, and obviously plenty of other people will be as well, so have a look at what's available there. This is Twitch exclusive, unfortunately, so streaming on YouTube will not count for that. You will also need to link your Twitch account to your Path of Exile account. So just go to the Twitch settings page here while you are logged in to your Path of Exile account, and it will then check to see that you are connected. If you're not, it'll give you some tips on how to do that. So in order to do this, you'll need a free Twitch account. You won't need a paid one, and you will need to connect it to your Path of Exile account. One thing that's important, if you did connect this before Twitch was hacked, I think Twitch was hacked in October, then you will need to do it again. You'll need to reconnect them because Twitch reset all of their connections with external partners. Lastly, I think I would just mention quickly the Zizaran Gauntlet prizes, because I sort of glossed over them earlier, but these prizes will be fantastic. Zizaran teams up with the e-commerce company Shopify and gets quite a lot of prize money from them. So there'll be a major prize pool, which is divided between the rank 1 overall player will receive 12% of the prize pool. Then the top person they'll receive. So the top placing person overall, rank 1 overall in the point system, which will either be the first person to max out their points, or If no one succeeds in maxing out their points, it'll be the highest points with the first achiever of that score being the tiebreak. The rank 1 will receive 12% of the prize pool. Rank 2 will receive 4% of the prize pool. And on top of that, so that this stacks with that, rank 1 in each class will receive 8% of the prize pool. Rank 2 in each class will receive 4% of the prize pool. So if the event is won by a Marauder and second place is a Ranger, then the Marauder will receive 20% of the prize pool, so 8% for being top Marauder and 12% for being top overall. The Ranger will receive 8% of the prize pool for being the top Ranger, plus 4% for being second overall, so 12%. And then the top Witch will get 8%. The second top Ranger will get 4%, and so on and so forth. These prize pools typically can definitely exceed 10,000 US dollars, and so there'll be a lot of prizes there. So that's the prize that the very best players in the game are contesting for. This is people whose skill far surpasses my own. There will also be Demigod's Authorities again, as per all of the other events. There'll be the same microtransaction sorts of draws. And then there's a number of physical prizes as well. There'll be 10 Krangled Gauntlet t-shirts that'll be available as prizes. There'll be a PC case that's available, an Oculus Quest 2, a high-end monitor, and a high-end gaming PC will be available at level for one player at random that reaches level 90. So one player at random that reaches level 70 will get the Oculus Quest 2. Typically, that's I think that's a couple of thousand people that typically make it to level 70 in Gauntlet, although I would need to check that. Then there's all the same MTX prizes, and there's, but basically the cash prizes and the physical prizes that Zizaran finances here are the big draw into this event. Okay, so that is the December events. May your Valobs have interesting results, and I will see you around. Do remember that all of these events are voided, and although I think GGD should consider changing that, that's something that I think will just create feel-bad moments without really being all that important for the integrity of the Standard League. But that's the decision that they've made and announced at the moment. And make sure that you have fun, and don't overdo it. Play the ones that look like they're the most fun, but don't go absolutely bonkers on every one of them, because that way is not fun overall. Just pick a couple of them that seem like they're the best and play those. If you don't like Heist, then give Endless Heist a miss. If you don't like the concept of having bosses that just surprise you out of nowhere, getting ganked by Esh while you're running a map, then don't give Atlas Invasion a go. Give that one a miss and try something else instead. If you don't like the thought of Solar Soulfound Hardcore, then skip Zizaran's Gauntlet. But you'll find something in here that'll be fun. May your Valobs have interesting results, and I will see you around.